Hi guys, welcome to Willa Betting. I'm Jim Knight, back for another weekend of team goal tips, hoping to build on our 4-1 winner last weekend when Hull scored twice or more at the Emirates. Unfortunately, Swansea couldn't follow suit and score twice or more at the Britannia, but they did get one on the board. I was a little bit disappointed in some of the chances they missed in the first half, but then Stoke kind of shut them down with the passing game second half and kind of went on to win the game. So them's the breaks. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Hoping to take a couple more odds against prices this weekend, which I think are way too big. The first one is quite a familiar bet, actually. It's Hull to score two or more again against Liverpool at Anfield. And I think, Liverpool's problems are well documented this weekend. The club are going to be still hurting plenty from their midweek Champions League defeat. And to be honest, I'm not sure how they got anything out of the QPR game last Sunday, let alone 3 points. I think QPR's defensive deficiencies ultimately came back to cost them there. But you see how many problems Bobby Zamora's caused up front on his own. Against the Liverpool defence, that's just shocking. They can't defend either from open play or from set pieces, which particularly caused the problem in midweek. Yes, Ronaldo's goal was a wonder goal, the opening goal, but the second two goals were pretty appalling from a defensive standpoint. You've got to look at the marking, you've got to look at the ability to stop the ball coming in and defending the second ball, which Brendan Rodgers' team looked pretty awful. To be fair, really, really ordinary, and those problems they're not new. They've been there quite a while. Just look at some of the games further back in the season if you need proof about that. Hull, as I've said before in plenty of videos, so I'm not going to go over old ground, but they're a lot more attacking wise this year. I think the signings that Steve Bruce has brought in are fantastic. I think the way that they're approaching games kind of with no fear rather than trying to see out 0-0 draws or nick games on the break is really, really commendable. They caused Arsenal plenty of problems, and for my money, Liverpool are pretty shoddy in defence as well. So I think there's plenty of profit potential in the price, particularly as big as it is. Hull have now covered this over 1.5 goals mark in the last 6 games, so it's not just a flash in the pan that they're getting on the board here. Yes, they've still got defensive problems of their own, but that's why we back them over 1.5 goals, so that even if they draw or lose a high scoring game and they've covered that mark, then it's still a winner and the money still goes back into your account. They are 15-4 to score 2 or more against a Liverpool team that, for my money, are going to do well not to concede 2 or more this weekend, and I'm struggling to think of a team I'd like to oppose more at the moment than Liverpool, given the current run that they're on, given the fact that they played midweek and they got spanked. To be honest, Real Madrid, if they didn't have one eye on the Clasico, probably could have scored 4 or 5 more goals than they actually did. I think, yes, the Anfield atmosphere is supposedly an advantage, but I think there's a certain downheart, kind of downbeat atmosphere around at the moment. There are plenty of questions to be answered, and without Suarez and Sturridge, they're showing just the same amount of defensive deficiencies, if not more so, than they did last year when they conceded so many goals. So yeah, I'll take Hull at 15-4 this weekend to score 2 or more with Sportingbet. Standout best price. I'd take 3-1 if you can get that as well. I'm not sure I'll go much shorter, but 3-1, I think there's plenty of juice in the price. The second game is from the kind of Super Sunday kind of focus on Sunday. The 4 o'clock kickoff between Manchester United and Chelsea, and for my money, United at 2-1. Still too short. Certainly couldn't have them any shorter than that against Chelsea. A Chelsea team that's 6-4, that's probably a good bet as well, I think, this weekend. I think the measure of how seriously Jose Mourinho ranks United's chances is probably in the Maribor game. Evident in the Maribor game in the midweek. I think if they were playing Man City away, they'd probably take their best players off after 60 minutes. They'd kill the game and probably win 3 or 4-0, but they left their best players on. They went on to score 6, which is fantastic for morale purposes, but that also shows, I think, that they're not expecting that much of a tough game against Manchester United. And I think Chelsea can go away, they can keep it tight, and they can score 2 or 3 goals themselves. Obviously looking for a clean sheet as well, but I think that United may well get one, so Chelsea may need 2 to win it, which is why I'm willing to back them on the 5-4. With a couple of firms that they get on the score sheet twice. I think whether it's Remy or Drogba that lead the line, I don't think Costa's going to be fit for that game. I think they've already kind of ruled him out. Whether it's Remy, who coming back from his groin injury, his little niggle that brought him off, against Maribor in midweek or Drogba. I'm happy with either of those. Cesc Fabregas is revelling in that number 10 role behind the striker, which he couldn't get game time at Barcelona to play. And then you've got kind of Oscar, Schürrle, Willian in midfield, Matic protecting the back four, but he's capable of chipping in with a goal or two as well. I just think Chelsea are going to have too much for United in a defence that, again, much like Liverpool, really struggling. I don't reckon much to Rojo and Shaw at the moment. They don't look kind of like they've fitted in well enough. Herrera is going to be out of the game as well by the sounds of it. Di Maria could potentially be out. So United have got huge injury worries of their own. Carrick might well be back, but I personally can't see that stopping Chelsea scoring 2 or more. So they're the second bet this weekend. Chelsea to score 2 or more in the Super Sunday game at 5-4, and Hull to score 2 or more at 15-4 with Sporting Bet. Thanks very much, guys. See you next weekend.